in the first place. Our fifth story on the countdown, the Bush administration on the hunt for anyone who might have leaked word of the NSA domestic spying program to the media, amid further word tonight that there may even be more secret spying going on than thought previously. Absent any hint of irony, the administration launching several investigations to nab any federal official who may have blown the whistle on its warrant-free surveillance program, as well as its secret CIA prisons. President Bush, you will recall, calling the NSA leak a, quote, shameful act that was, quote, helping the enemy. Never mind the members of his own senior staff who saw fit to leak the name of a covert CIA operative merely because her husband had said something critical about the White House. The Washington Post reporting that dozens of employees at the CIA, NSA, and other intelligence agencies have been interviewed by the FBI already. At the same time, the Justice Department warning reporters that they could be prosecuted under espionage laws. Pretty soon, Senator Arlen Specter could find himself being investigated for this. The Republican from Pennsylvania saying today he might call Attorney General Alberto Gonzales back before his Judiciary Committee for another round of questioning because of his concerns that there might be more secret surveillance programs. Pal, you and me both. Senator Specter left wondering what Mr. Gonzales was referring to in a letter he had sent the committee after his testimony last month, in which he wrote, quote, I did not and could not address any other classified intelligence activities. And another rake hit somebody in the forehead. Time now to call in our own Craig Crawford, columnist for Congressional Quarterly and author of Attack the Messenger, How Politicians Turn You Against the Media. Good evening, Craig.
Now only $14.92 on Amazon.com.
Excellent, and thanks for getting the monthly plug out of the way early. Oh, you got your sequel. Pitting the public against the media is no longer enough. Now the administration threatening to prosecute reporters who uncover the misdeeds and the wrongdoing. Have the Alien and Sedition Acts been repassed in the weekend I was away from a computer?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the old Ben Bradley character in All the President's Men. It's not like any of this matters, except maybe for the Constitution and the future of the country. This idea that the government has criminalized leaks leads us to a place where the only thing we get is official information. And we've all seen talking points. We know that's not very informative.
What happened to the First Amendment and freedom of the press, if we're going to go in those Bradleyan terms, or if you are the leaker, what happened to the Whistleblower Act?
Yeah. Well, I wrote in my book that the politicians had won the war against the media. These are the spoils of victory, Keith. Partly, we have a court system that makes it possible to put reporters in jail or if they don't reveal their sources. It really does raise the question, is there any freedom of the press left if that sort of activity is considered criminal?
And there's an extra dimension, of course. Anytime you see something like this attempted in a government in this country or any other, you turn black into white and white into black. Leaking the existence of secret CIA prisons or domestic spying that may or may not be legal, but certainly is without warrant, those acts, that's illegal. But leaking the name of a covert CIA operative whose husband criticized the administration is not illegal. What's the consistency here? Where did we get to that?
There isn't any. It's called situational ethics, I believe. You know, and we have gotten to a place where I think democracy's threatened when the freedom of the press in this context, in the protection of sources so that we get independent information that's independent of government spin and propaganda, that is the essence of democracy. I don't think you have a democracy without a free press, and I don't think you have a free press with a legal system like we have now. There's some irony in that we are exporting democracy abroad and cutting a major artery of our own democracy here at home.
Yeah, maybe we should serve here before we start shipping. The senator's charge, Mr. Specter, today, that there could be other secret surveillance programs based on what the Attorney General had written him. Do we fear, first of all, do we fear he might be right, or is it sour grapes because he was not consulted about the spying, or what is behind all this?
I think there's a big issue with the members of Congress, Republican leaders. So many Republican senators, Keith, I've always found, and Democrats too, as a matter of fact, consider themselves senators first, protecting their branch of government, and then, secondly, they are members of their party and protecting their president in power. And then you have the interesting dynamic often in Washington when even leaders in Congress who have a president from their own party, eventually there's conflict because of that traditional balance of power, hostility between the branches. So I think what's happening is a lot of members of Republicans in Congress are beginning to realize the Bush era is almost over, and they are starting to prepare for the next era and positioning themselves to be in power for that.
The Katrina tapes last week, specifically the release by the administration officials or White House sources was the way Newsweek had put the reference to the transcripts. Of the tape from August 29th that put the president in a good light, not the stuff from the day before, which we're looking at here now. But would it be a stretch to say that had someone inside the administration taken it upon himself or herself to leak that one tape before and absent of any of the other ones being leaked, that that person might be under investigation right about now for releasing something the White House had claimed was protected by executive privilege?
And I wouldn't forestall the idea that there will be investigations of the leaks of tapes they didn't want released as opposed to those they did. We have an administration here that is really conducting a war on information that they don't want out, and those who disseminate information they don't want out. And I really think it's become a fairly serious matter.
Fortunately, the August 28th tapes were handed out by FEMA. So the idea, whereas this huge crush to try to secretize everything, make secret everything that the White House wants secret, unfortunately, there's another branch of government that's just sort of throwing tapes out there. So perhaps our best defense against infringement on democracy is the stupidity of the people trying to infringe upon it.
Always, yeah. It's still, as we've said before, a good time to reread George Orwell.
And yeah, and it's a quick read, and you can buy it along with Craig's book for just $15. MSNBC political analyst Craig Crawford, also Congressional Quarterly. As always, friend, great thanks.
Thanks.